discuss some common questions we hear from brands about EPR. Does EPR work?
Well, the Recycling Partnership studied 7 EPR programs around the world and found that the policy substantially increased collection and recycling of the target materials across the board. Recycling rates climbed as high as 90% after EPR implementation.
Is EPR a tax?
No, EPR is not a tax. It's a regulatory framework and that requires producers to take financial and operational responsibilities for managing their products' end-of-life impacts. Now, unlike a tax, which goes into a state's general fund and can be used for any purpose, EPR statutes typically establish a dedicated fund where producer contributions are specifically allocated to support the program.
What are the fees?
Well, the fees will vary from state to state. They are assessed by the Producer Responsibility Organization, or PRO, and they're based on factors such as material types, weight, recyclability, and use of recycled content. A concept called eco-modulation is often leveraged to incentivize more sustainable designs. A brand should consult with the PRO for specifics.
What do the EPR fees cover?
The fees cover program needs as assessed by the state regulators. These typically include recycling and waste disposal operations, recycling infrastructure investments, consumer education, and administrative costs.
Who are the obligated producers?
Now, there's nuance to this answer since the definition of obligated producer differs in each state. However, in general, the obligated producer is typically the brand owner, manufacturer or importer that first sells or distributes the packaging products in the state. Brands should consult with the PRO for guidance.
What is a producer responsibility organization?
A producer responsibility organization, or PRO for short, is a third-party entity that manages the responsibilities of producers under an EPR program. That includes collecting fees, coordinating recycling operations, ensuring regulatory compliance, and reporting program outcomes on behalf of its member companies. The Circular Action Alliance is emerging as the PRO in many EPR states.
When do the laws take effect?
Each state sets its own schedule. The Oregon program is the first to launch starting in July of 2025. A phased rollout in California starts in 2025. The other states start in 2026 or later.
What happens if a company doesn't comply?
Non-compliant producers may face significant monetary fines. For example, California's EPR statute allows for penalties up to $50,000 per day per violation. States may prohibit the sale of products in non-compliant packaging, effectively barring a company from entering or remaining in that market. In some cases, repeated or severe non-compliance can result in suspension or loss of business licenses related to packaging distribution.
What will producers need to report?
Producers will need to report packaging data such as types, weights, and volumes of the covered materials sold in the state. They will also need to report how the packaging aligns with recycling guidelines and uses post-consumer recycled materials or other sustainable attributes.
How can producers reduce their fees?
There are several ways to minimize fees, including the strategies we covered in this course. So designing for recycling, source reduction, and using post-consumer recycled materials. Producers should understand the eco-modulation incentives in each state and then align their packaging efforts accordingly. So in summary, extended producer responsibility is reshaping packaging design, production, and supply chain practices. By embracing design for recycling, source reduction, and PCR content integration, your brand can achieve compliance and build a more sustainable future at the same time. Plastic Ingenuity is here to support you in every step of the way with our expertise, innovative materials, and assessment tools. Visit our website to explore more resources and feel free to connect with our team. Thank you for participating in Plastic Ingenuity's EPR course.